It's Oscar night, and we're going to a costumed Oscar party where we have to dress up as some kind of character in one of the Oscar-nominated movies. So we've got Monica.
I'm Astrid. She's the girl in How to Train Your Dragon. So
She looks pretty awesome.
yeah, my armor's going south again. These are supposed to be like up here. I think like, oh my goodness, like this. There we go. The best part of this is the axe. My sister sent this to me. It's supposed to be an orc axe from one of the Lord of the Rings movies, but we're not really sure.
Pretty badass.
It is pretty badass. Stephanie is Bonnie from Toy Story 3. I don't know why we both wound up being cartoon characters, but we did. Give us a twirl. Woo! Yes, Bonnie in her galoshes jeans, tutu, superhero, and of course Woody.
We're going to talk about the Oscars this week because we saw a good selection of what was nominated, and Matt talked about it, so I figured we'd talk about it for a little bit. As far as what I thought, I'm very, very happy that The King's Speech won as much as it did, because I thought overall it was just extremely, extremely well-crafted film as a whole. One of the other films we saw was Black Swan, which I wanted to talk about because Matt talked about it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really interesting film, but upon, you know, thinking about it more, and especially comparing it to some of the other nominees like King's Speech, stuff like that, I actually think it was a little overthought, because Monica did research about how long it took to make it, and I think it was just, you know, when you sit toiling on something, it becomes hard to edit yourself down. I actually think it could have been a little better if they'd kind of decided on a couple more clear paths to take with it, but I really enjoyed it, and I do think Natalie Portman gave the performance of her career so far. So she was well-deserved in her win and nomination. We haven't seen Social Network yet. It's still setting in the Netflix envelope, but we shall watch it soon, I'm sure.
I also was pulling for The King's Speech. I really, really, really enjoyed that movie, and not just enjoyed that movie, really thought that everything about it, every performance, the small performances and large performances were so well done, and the details and the costuming and the set designs and the cinematography, there was just, it really was one of those rare things, which is an almost flawless movie, and to have it all tied up in what was a really inspiring story, it was nice to see it win. Personally, I adore Colin Firth, and my only disappointment about him winning is he wasn't wearing a kilt. I also enjoyed Black Swan. I thought it was kind of a throwback to, you know, kind of Roman Polanski style movie with a little Fight Club and thrown in. But as Steph said, that we've heard a number of people say that they really did not like it. You know, I mean, I guess that's the thing about art, is it speaks to different people on different levels. But no, I'm just pulling out my swan quill, right?
But I think that also speaks to, I think it was a much more artistically made film.
Yes.
Not a
yes, and
film, I think, like, entertainmently.
It reminded me a lot of Repulsion. Classic Roman Polanski film from the early mid-60s. Catherine Deneuve is in the crazy girl role. It reminded me a lot of that, and a little of that, like, over the top, and, you know, hits the right notes at sometimes and misses it the other times. Certainly I give props to both Darren Aronofsky, who's the director of Black Swan, and to David, is it Seidler? He's the guy that wrote The King's Speech. Both of them have very interesting backstories on how these particular films got made, and that I thought were really fascinating, as far as perseverance and having a dream, and it's always nice to see people recognized when they've worked so hard on something that's dear to their hearts. So, tell us about a time when you were really obsessed with doing or accomplishing something, and what it was and what your journey was with that. That's one I'd like to hear.